Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time finding me. Today we are reading the new Shatter Me book, Watch Me. This is technically a spin-off series. It is called Shatter Me the New Republic, and it's following James, who was a 10-year-old boy in the original series, but now he is an adult, and I don't know what he's getting up to, but there's also going to be a new character, I'm assuming the love interest. Very excited to see who she might be. Also very nervous to read this because I don't know, for a couple reasons. The first one being, I've gotten this spoiled a little bit already. Because people that got the arcs, they started posting TikToks about it. And I didn't know that they were going to be posting spoilers on TikTok 3 weeks before the book even came out. I literally got spoiled 3 weeks before the book even came out. Because usually I do pretty good about avoiding spoilers when a book comes out. But if there are spoilers before the book even comes out, that's a lot harder to avoid. So I did get a couple things spoiled, and when I did get spoiled, I'm very nervous about. And the second thing that I'm nervous about is that I just did a complete Shatter Me reread, and I have James fresh in the mind as a 10-year-old. I do not know how I'm gonna feel about reading him as a 20-some-year-old that's gonna fall in love, whatever. And I've heard people thirst over him in this book, and I do not know if I'm gonna be one of those people, because in my head, he is a kid. Is he a kid anymore? Technically not. But when you go from reading him as a 10-year-old to dive into this, it's gonna be something. I'm a little nervous, and I am very intrigued to see what the author gets up to and how much crumbs we get of the original series. And I do know this is gonna be a trilogy, I think, so it might end on a cliffhanger. But I think the author said the next book's already wrote. It just hasn't been released yet, or like announced for a release date. So hopefully we don't have to wait too long, but I did get the special edition, so my copy is holographic, and I have the gold foiling, but I love that it's holographic, and it has like the gummy bear print in the inside. But this is 353 pages. I need to literally read this today in one go. I have to read this in 12 hours because I got really behind on reading. And it is the last day of the month, and I made a challenge that I would read 26 books in April. This is the 26th book. I need to finish this to succeed in my challenge. So I'm going to read every free second of the day that I have. It's only 353 pages, so hopefully that means it won't take me very long to get through. If I can just stay focused and stay on task, I am going to stream, and I might literally just make my stream title be, I'm going to stream until I finish this book, because it needs to be done. I need to read this before 12 a.m. tonight, or I have failed. And I don't want to be a failure, baby. I want to be a winner. So this is my little intro into this. I should be much better about giving check-ins, but the thing is, I am not annotating. Because it's a special edition, and I don't annotate special editions because I don't want to ruin the whole vibe of it. So you won't see any clips of me reading it necessarily, or annotating it necessarily. I'm just going to give a check-in maybe every few hours, like maybe right before I start streaming, I'll tell you how many pages I've read, and then maybe I'll check in while I'm streaming and be like, oh yeah, I've read this many pages, and then I'll check in when I have finished the book and give my review. And I do want to make this very clear, this will be a spoilers vlog. It will be a spoilers vlog. I'm not going to hold back. That is why I put this in its very own video, because originally my idea was, oh, I'll just put it with my Shatter Me vlogs, but I wanted people to be able to watch my videos on the Shatter Me books and be able to avoid spoilers. I'm not. I'm gonna put this in the title. It is a spoiler vlog. I don't know how much I'll give away, but I definitely want to be able to dive into this without being worried. So if you have any intentions of reading this, or you are going to be reading it soon, I would get off of this video and come back once you have read it. I can't get over how holographic it is. It's beautiful. So it is 12:15. I'm going to start this while on my lunch break. So I will check in with you guys in a couple of hours and let you know how much I've read. Okay, this is the first check-in. It is like 3:30, and I've read about 30 pages, something like that. 5 chapters. I'm surprisingly liking it. So it's about this girl named Rosabella? Yeah, Rosabelle. It's about a girl named Rosabelle who lives in what used to be Sector 52, and she lives on what's called Ark Island, and it's like the last hold of the resettlement has. Like, it's the only place that the resettlement still exists, and she has been sanctioned there because her dad was one of the supreme commanders, and he sold his secrets to get life in prison instead of getting executed. So her family, her mom herself, and it's just been her and her sister, and she's been trying to take care of them, and she pretty much becomes a serial killer to be able to pay off like her dad's actions. And I don't know, it's really good. I think I really like her. I just got to a James chapter. And obviously James is who was from the original series, but he is on Ark Island because they have been wanting to break into Ark Island to figure out like their secrets and like to figure out like their technology and how they might be able to take them down, but no one's been able to do it. Like not even Aaron Warner has been able to break in. So James takes it upon himself to try because he has those healing abilities where he can heal himself. So he's like, oh, I feel like I have the skills to do it. He immediately gets caught, and Rosabelle is the one that comes to his room to him, and she doesn't know that he has healing powers. So she like, and then he wakes up on a gurney and he's like, surprise, I'm still alive. And the part that I just finished was with Rosabelle realizing that he had healing powers, and she tries to like kill him again. That's as far as I've gotten. Surprisingly, I'm liking it. It's not, I mean, I'm not far enough in to like give you like a potential star rating because it's literally only been like 30-40 pages, but it's also way more dark than I was expecting. I mean, you literally, first couple pages in, you hear about suicide, you hear about serial killing, you hear like even James talks about being hard in his pants for a serial killer. This is a YA, isn't it? Am I gonna have to Google this as a YA? Because it's not acting like a YA, is all I'm gonna say. And now I understand why there was gummy bears on the wrapping, because I didn't. I was like, how does that make any sense? And it's because when James is captured, that's the only thing that was in his pocket, so he's literally in the prison eating gummy worms, and then not gummy worms, gummy bears, and then when he is killed and he's on the gurney, Rosabelle takes the packaging from him and is like, what is this? What is this? And that explains why there's gummy bears. But so far so well. I'm gonna go ahead and read it, and I'll probably check in like 4 hours from now, like maybe 8 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock, and then hopefully I've made way more progress than this because geez Louise, I need to hurry it up. Okay, hi everyone, this is the second check-in. It is 7 o'clock. I got to roughly like 228 pages, so I only have about like 100 pages left. I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm not loving it. It's on a 4-star for me. There's not much happening. Really not much is happening. I'm gonna wait till I finish to go over like what happened in the book, because really I want to finish it so I can know what to really tell you, because not much is really happening at all. Like this book is definitely more getting characters set up than it is anything actually happening, and it's interesting, it's funny. We've gotten to see some of the old characters again, and yeah, so I've been reading about 70 to 90 pages an hour. I've been reading for a couple of hours, and hopefully I'm gonna finish this before 9 o'clock tonight. So that's the update. This is the check-in. Okay, it is 8:35 p.m. I just finished this book, and I'm gonna be giving it a 3.75. It was good, didn't wow me, and I have lots of thoughts. I did a whole rampage on this on stream, but for the sake of not going too deep into my angry thoughts, I'll just summarize it for on here. So I'm giving this 3.75 stars because 1, barely anything happened. 2, the chemistry between the two main characters weren't giving what I needed to give. And 3, the spotlight wasn't even on, it felt like a lot of the spotlight wasn't even on the two main characters. We got a lot of content about the old characters. Like we got a lot of scenes between Kenji and with Warner and Winston, and we kept getting those scenes. We got some scenes with Juliet obviously, but a lot of those scenes kept happening. It was only a 353 page book. For the book this size, she definitely should have used less of those like fan service moments, because yes, Kenji and Warner and Juliet are like his family, but I felt like it drawed a little away from who the actual main characters were, and I think we've definitely just gotten more of James on his own moments, and we didn't really get a whole lot of those other than the very beginning. I really love Rosabelle as a character. She's very interesting, but I also feel like the author has typecasted themselves with these characters, because I think James is wrote to be very similar to Warner, and I just wish that she would have gave him a bit of his own personality. And Rosabelle really reminds me of Juliet, in like different ways and stuff. And I just wish that there was more that happened. I'm gonna go over what happened, so spoilers. I said it in the beginning of the video. if you stuck around, I would definitely stop listening now because I'm going to go into what actually happens in this book. So this book is about Rosabelle, who used to live in Sector 52, but now she lives on Ark Island, something like that. And I almost said Lost Ark because it's a game I play, but she lives on Ark Island, and she is pretty much sanctioned there because her mom, herself, and her dad was a regent commander to what used to be the establishment, and he sold him his secrets to the New Republic to be able to stay alive. So he's working for the New Republic, but he left his 2 kids behind. So the 2 kids are pretty much paying for their parents' crimes. So they have to work off what they say is their parents' sins. Well, the one sister is disabled. She's like physically ill all the time. So Rosabelle is left to take care of her and her sister. And the ways that she does that is she becomes like a contracted killer for what remains of the reestablishment. This is the only part of the reestablishment that still exists. It's like the last hold of the reestablishment, but it's a very fortified, technology advanced, water-locked place. So the New Republic has not been able to get in to attack them, or they haven't been able to get in to spy for them. So the reestablishment is definitely still existing and thriving in this island, and everyone is chipped so that they can see all their memories and all of what's going on in their lives. Like, they can watch them. Like, even the animals are chipped. Like, freaking squirrels will be watching you when you're walking down the street. But there's something wrong with Rosabelle, and she can't be chipped. They have tried to chip her multiple times, and her body rejects it. Like, they've tried over and over and over again. And you find out later in the book that she's essentially brain dead. I don't know if it's because she's an unnatural or what it is, but when they do tests on her, she has no brain waves. Like, there's nothing that comes back, and that's why they think that she can't be chipped, because she's essentially dead on the inside, is what they say. And I always thought that they meant emotionally, you know how people's oh, you're so cold-hearted. I thought they meant that, but the phrase actually, you find out, really typically means that she's actually dead on the inside. She should technically be dead. So she's like a zombie? I really don't know. She's like a functioning person. She's not zombified. She looks like a regular person, but in the inside, she should not be moving or walking or talking. I don't know if it's she has a gift. We don't know, because that's what the book ends on. But she's a contracted killer for the reestablishment, and she gets told to kill these people. Well, James, who we know from the original series, he breaks into this island, and he gets caught, and she tries to kill him, and she's not able to because he has healing powers. So the reestablishment gives her the new mission of getting him to take her back to where the New Republic is, so she can infiltrate their environment, and she can spy for them. And so that's what she does. James weirdly feels bad for her, and he trusts her, even though he really shouldn't, because she did in fact slice his throat. Anyways, he instantly lust her, and he immediately is attracted to her and immediately trusts her. So he takes her back to what the New Republic is, and she is essentially a spy for them. And it gets a little weird, but essentially the villain of this book series is this AI called Klaus. It is what they put microchips into people. They're pretty much putting Klaus into people, and he controls their brain. He controls how they react. He can take over their entire body if he wants to. And since Rosabelle cannot be chipped, she has to go through these interrogations once a month. That's do you want to harm us? Do you think about escaping? Do you think about blah 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 blah? And if she doesn't pass these tests, she doesn't get food rations, and she'll be deemed a traitor. But they tell her, hey, if you go do this one last mission, if you go and you infiltrate this New Republic for us, and you're able to help us get something on them, we will free you and your sister. And she believes them. I don't know why you'd ever believe a corrupt government. She essentially says that she thinks that she's picking the lesser two of the evils. Spoiler alert, she did not. Because the book ends with us finding out the true purpose of her mission was she was supposed to go to the New Republic, and she was going to drink this vial. We don't know what was in the vial, but we know what the vial was supposed to do. So the vial, she was going to drink it, and then she was going to go bury herself alive, and then she was going to become one with the plants, one with the earth. And once she had become one with the earth, it would essentially have caused an explosion, and then these genes would have become airborne, and then those airborne genes would have gone into the into the bodies of the New Republic, essentially spreading Klaus to the New Republic so that he could control them. Like, it was like a large environmental scheme to get Klaus into the New Republic without having to actually like go over there and have a scientist. So we don't really know what's in the vial. Like, it's something to do with genes that's going to be airborne, but she was never going to be freed. She was going there to die because they had deemed her unworthy of living. So that's like the big reveal of the series, is that she was never going to live. Her sister was never going to live. Like, they had been deemed unworthy, and like the last thing they were going to have her do to like prove herself was to pretty much sacrifice herself. And the book ends with the New Republic, James, finding out what the plot was, and they essentially prevent her from doing that. So they're going to be locking her up into a high security prison. And the very last page of the book, she gets told that Hugo is waiting for her, and we find out that Hugo is her dad, who's working for the New Republic. So I'm assuming in book 2 we're going to get some kind of family reunion. It's like an interesting premise of like the whole villain being an AI person, but I wish they would have gave more into this AI. I wish that we would have gotten more plot, and I wish we would have gotten to see Rosabelle interacting on her own, but also interacting with James, because there's a lot of like time skips. Like, it'd be like, oh, she's been here for 10 days. Okay, why couldn't you have given us some of those 10 days, you know? And I think it's an interesting premise. I think the series has potential, but I think this first book was a miss for me. Like a 3.75, mostly because I thought it was funny, but I shouldn't find a dystopian book funny. You know what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be dystopian. I should not be laughing as much as I was. I should be sad. I should be scared for these characters. And I spent probably 60% of the book laughing because James was really a funny character, and he had funny moments with Kenji and Warner. And I feel like the priority wasn't the plot, it was the characters. And I don't know, it was just weird. And I know the second book has already been wrote, and it just hasn't have a release date yet, but I will be reading the second one whenever it comes out. And I'll try to keep my expectations low for it. But if I give the second one 3 stars as well, I just won't be going forward with the series, because I'm not going to put myself through a series that I'm not really loving. And I think the author probably just needs to wrap it up with the Shatter Me stuff, because I feel like she is just hitting a dead horse, literally. But yeah, that's my feelings. A 3.75 is really not that bad. It's pretty average. Like, I would maybe recommend this, but also I wouldn't recommend it to any like die-hard Shatter Me fans, because I don't think they would enjoy it, and that's maybe why I'm not enjoying it. But if someone had read the other Shatter Me books and they were interested into like a new part of it, then I would maybe recommend it to them. But overall, like, okay, don't feel like I wasted my time. It was short enough that I got through it in a couple of hours. I was able to read it in one day, and the cover is stunning, but I needed more. It was just existing, it was just vibing, and I needed an actual fantasy dystopian plot, and it didn't really feel like one. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I'm sorry that it's not a good rating that I thought I was going to be giving. I was really hoping I'd be like, this is a 5-star read. It wasn't even close to a 5-star. So I do feel kind of bad that I gave it its own video, because people are going to click on this and be so excited, and they're going to get to the end of the video and be like, oh damn, they a hater. And I kind of am a little bit of a hater for this book, because it felt like fan service to me, and this is just my opinion. If you want to read it and make your own opinion, it's totally valid. This is just my opinion. But I'm still a big fan of the author. I'll still read probably whatever she puts out. This was just a miss. I think I'm going to stop talking so that I don't keep giving more and more into my anger with this book. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. I'm doing like bonus videos on Wednesday occasionally, so I don't know. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Sunday. I'll see you sometime or another. And for an emoji to comment, I don't know if it's a gummy bear emoji, but I maybe comment a bear. I'm sure there's a bear emoji. Or maybe do candy. Yeah, do candy, because gummy bears are a type of candy, and I think there's a candy emoji. I'm going to check to make sure after I finish filming this. But that's it. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me. If you've read this book and you want to let me know your feelings, you feel free to in the comments. If you feel the same way as me, you can tell me in the comments. I need to be validated that I'm not the only one that didn't love this. Okay, bye.